Hi boys and girls. Today we are continuing our lesson about Canada, and today we're going to be looking at the climate and vegetation of Canada. We are beginning our lesson on page 34. When you think of Canada, do you think of a country covered in snow? It's true that most of Canada has long, cold winters and short, cool summers. But would you believe a rainforest grows in the western region of Canada? The west coast of Canada has wet, mild winters. So we've heard or read a lot of facts about the climate. So let's go ahead and underline long, cold winters, because it does have that, and short, cool summers. But we also read that there is a rainforest that grows in the west. A rainforest grows in the western region, and they have wet, mild winters. So again, we see, depending on what part of Canada, what region, the climate is different. This climate is great for evergreen trees, mosses, and ferns. Let's highlight some of those things. Evergreen trees, mosses, ferns, those are examples of vegetation that grows. Farther north, near the Arctic Ocean, is the tundra. Tundra is a vocabulary word. The tundra is a treeless plain where only grasses and mosses can grow. Let's highlight that definition of tundra. Tundra is a treeless plain where only grasses and mosses can grow. The temperature there almost never gets above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If we look here, this photograph is a picture of the tundra. Canada has arable land too. Arable land is land that is good for growing crops. Remember, we read about that when we read about the regions in the United States. Let's highlight that again to refresh our memories. Arable land is land that is good for growing crops. Some of Canada's best farmland is in the east, near the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. Wheat, barley, and soybeans grow well there during Canada's short summers. Let's highlight some of those. Wheat, barley, and soybeans. All right, now let's read on to Canada's resources. The forests in Canada are one of the country's most important resources. So we just read the forests are one of the country's most important resources. Let's highlight that. The forests in Canada are one of the country's most important resources. Trees are used to build houses and make paper. Let's highlight trees. Did you know that a lot of the paper that newspapers are printed on comes from Canada? Canada is rich with other resources too. Parts of eastern Canada have large iron ore deposits. Let's highlight iron ore. Remember, we read about iron ore when we read about the regions as well. As you learned in lesson 2, iron ore is used to make steel. Other mineral resources mined in Canada include gold, copper, silver, and nickel. Let's highlight those resources as well. Gold, copper, silver, and nickel. And these are all examples of minerals. Let's highlight minerals. Some of the energy resources found in Canada are coal, oil, and natural gas. Let's highlight those as well. Most of Canada's natural gas is east of the Rocky Mountains. Okay, so our question is, how are Canada's resources similar to the resources of the United States? Well, I remember in lesson 2 reading a lot about regions that have trees as a natural resource. And I also remember reading about iron ore that's used to make steel. Remember, it was used to make the St. Louis Arch. And so I think that both the United States and Canada have trees and iron ore for resources. So I'm going to say, how are Canada's resources similar to the resources of the United States? I'm going to say the United States and Canada both have trees and iron ore. Whoops, I forgot my D in United. I always want to look back over our reading and our writing. Okay, now I'm going to look back down here at Canada's natural resources, this map here. And if I look at the map legend, it tells me what all of these pictures mean. And I can look here and see where there's coal and copper and gold and all of these different resources in Canada. And this question here says, which 2 natural resources are found near Hudson Bay? Well, I see here is Hudson Bay. And if I look around Hudson Bay, I see this symbol, which represents nickel. And then I also see this, which this symbol represents copper. So I'm going to write nickel and copper. Okay.